All right, let's get right into it. We're tackling a question that a lot of you are probably asking right now. The original Canon R6 versus its newer, shinier sibling, the R6 Mark II. Both are absolute beasts of a camera, but here in 2025, which one is actually the smarter way to spend your money? Let's figure this out.
So maybe you're looking to upgrade, or maybe you're finally jumping into Canon's mirrorless system. Either way, this isn't just about specs on a page. This is about finding the most creative horsepower for your dollar. We're going to break it all down so you can make a call you feel really good about.
You know what we're really looking at here are two generations of the same incredible family. The original R6, man, that thing was a total game changer back in 2020. Then 2 years later, the Mark II comes along and builds on that legacy. So the big question for us today is, are those Mark II upgrades still worth the extra cash?
So, just to set the scene, the original R6 has been out since 2020. That's a good amount of time, which usually means you can find some fantastic deals. The Mark II is the newer kid on the block, packed with more recent tech. And that age gap puts these two cameras in really interesting and very different positions in the market right now.
Okay, but before we start tearing them apart, let's just get one thing straight. There is no bad choice here. Seriously, both of these cameras are built on an incredibly strong foundation of shared features that make them both fantastic tools.
And this is that shared DNA I'm talking about. It's what makes both cameras so awesome. You're getting Canon's absolutely mind-blowing image stabilization, a super useful flip-out touchscreen, and that world-class autofocus that just works. Plus, you get pro-level features like dual card slots and weather sealing, all in the exact same body. So the core experience? It's top-notch whichever one you pick up.
All right, so if they're so similar, why would you even think about spending more for the Mark II?
Well, this is where things get really interesting, because Canon didn't just make minor tweaks, they made some very specific, very powerful upgrades.
And the first, most jaw-dropping upgrade is all about one thing: speed. If you shoot anything that moves, we're talking sports, wildlife, maybe even your kids who just refuse to stand still, the Mark II has a massive, massive advantage.
Get a load of this. The original R6 was already plenty fast at 20 frames per second, but the Mark II comes in and doubles that to a blistering 40 frames per second with the electronic shutter. For an action shooter, that's not just a small bump. That literally doubles your chances of capturing that one perfect split-second shot.
Next up is something that might not sound as flashy, but trust me, it's a huge deal in the real world: battery life. The Mark II gives you a major boost, going from about 360 shots on the original to 580. That means less time stressing about your battery and more time actually shooting. That's a huge quality of life win.
But let's be honest, while the speed and battery life are awesome, the #1 reason to pony up for the Mark II is if you shoot video. This is where Canon really listened to the feedback from the original R6 and just knocked it out of the park.
I mean, just look at this. These are game-changing differences. The original R6 had that super annoying 30-minute recording limit, which was a nightmare for things like interviews. The Mark II? Gone. Record as long as you want. It also gives you raw video output for total control and color grading, and it shoots gorgeous, uncropped 4K video at 60 frames per second. That's the whole shebang for video creators.
And the list just keeps going. You get a little more resolution with a 24-megapixel sensor. You get this super clever pre-shooting buffer that starts recording before you even hit the button. A dedicated switch for photo and video, a modern hot shoe. These are all really smart, well-thought-out improvements that just make the camera better to use day to day.
Okay. After hearing all that, you might be thinking, why would anyone on Earth still buy the original R6? Well, the answer is actually really simple, and for a lot of people, it's incredibly compelling.
And there it is, the price. We're talking about a difference of around $300. Think about that for a second. That's not pocket change. That's enough for a really nice lens, some good lighting, or maybe a plane ticket for your next photo adventure. Money talks.
And this really gets to the heart of it. If you look back at that list of upgrades for the Mark II, most of the really big, headline-grabbing features were all about video. So if video isn't your main thing, well, suddenly the original R6 starts to look like a much, much smarter deal.
So let's just hammer this home. The original R6 is still an amazing buy. For still photography, its performance is just fantastic. It actually has more autofocus points than the Mark II, and you could even argue its slightly larger pixels might give it a tiny edge in really dark situations. And remember, you get access to all the same incredible RF lenses and all those great core features we talked about.
All right, we've laid it all out. We've seen the raw power of the new Mark II,
And we've seen the incredible, enduring value of the original R6. Now it's time to bring it all together and help you figure out which one of these cameras has your name on it.
This is really what it all boils down to. Just look at these two columns and be honest about which one sounds more like you. If you're nodding along to the points on the left, you're a serious hybrid shooter, you need that crazy 40 FPS speed, video is a huge part of your work, then yes, the R6 Mark II is your camera, no question. But if you see yourself on the right, you're a photographer first and foremost, you're smart with your budget, and those high-end video features just aren't essential for you, then the original R6 is an absolutely incredible value that you will love.
At the end of the day, a camera is just a tool. We can talk about specs and features all day long, but the most important question isn't which camera is better, it's which camera is going to help you bring your ideas to life. So, you've seen the breakdown. Now, what are you going to go out and create?